Welcome back, one and all, to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest running sales training podcast history. We are celebrating our 20th year in the podcast space in September. If you have welcome, Brian.
Sorry. Thank you, Bill. Well, this is our podcast, as I said.
That's right. If you have a story about the podcast and how maybe it's affected you positively or negatively, if it put you in the insane asylum because of our upfront 3-minute rant, let us know. Send us an audio to listener@advancedsellingpodcast.com. You could do video, but audio is probably easier for everybody. So just let us know where you listen, how long you've been listening, what you've taken from it. We get all sorts of emails from people who say, you know what, I led my team last year in sales, and I was 7th the year before, and I attribute a lot of it to what I learned on it. Sometimes we get those kinds of things all the time. So let's document those, send them to us. Listener Advanced Selling Podcast. We'll put it in the show notes, the link.
Yeah, we'll do that. We love to hear from you. We just want to hear who all's out there and listening and all that stuff. Yeah. We know you're out there, so we might start DMing you since we're planning our own party.
We might show up.
You got to decide who's going to decide what we're going to get on the cake. We should get a cake from Taylor's Bakery, shouldn't we?
That would be good. I like
good with the logo on the cake. Oh,
yeah, I love it. Oh, that's a good idea. I could come down there. We could have a little
do it live, right?
Do it live.
Video.
Oh yeah.
How about it? That's turning into something now. It's a thing.
Now it's the thing. Nobody else will plan once again, but
since we're on Indiana hometown nostalgia, I think there were 6 of my best friends we've been friends since we were 13 or 12, like 7th grade. And a few of their wives, and one of the guy brought his daughter, and then one of my buddies, my best friend, has been friends with him since we were 10. They all came in Indianapolis, and we went to go see one of our iconic, historic, best music performers that someone that just defines our life growing up in Indiana and also in our wheelhouse of our age, John Mellencamp. Mm-hmm. And we were so impressed with how great his show was.
Really?
He's 74, I think.
Is he really?
And he played 74. He didn't try to play 30, and he could still sing.
Yeah.
And he sang what he could sing. He didn't try. He didn't press upper notes. He didn't scream when he would normally scream back when he was younger. Crowd, he played, I think, 2 hours, 40 minutes. He played 26 songs. I knew 25 of them.
Wow.
Sing along. And it was just a very nostalgic night. And
was that at Ruoff?
That was at Ruoff, which we
outdoor,
nice outdoor, night. Beautiful night. So one, if you're a remote music fan, you're like, hey, John Mellencamp's coming through. You're like, no, thanks. Go see him. He's great. Yeah. Now he took for 20 years. He's been doing kind of acoustic. His music got a little off for me personally, but he's his all hits. Nothing.
Well, this is exactly 26 hits.
Oh my gosh,
that's impressive because usually they don't do that.
No. And it was just absolutely fantastic. So,
yeah.
And another reminder also, or just a little nudge for you. If you have friends from childhood or junior high or high school, don't put off getting together. I don't care how old you are. If you're listening, you're 24, you're just out of college, get in touch with your junior high and high school friends and do the same thing when you're 75,
Stop with this. I don't have time. BS.
Oh, right.
Come on. It will inspire you. I mean, it will just inspire you to go back to those times where you didn't have a whole lot of responsibility and no money, but no responsibility. And those were great free times.
So true.
Yeah, that's good. Well, we talked last week. We started this what we think is at least a 2-part series. Who knows? Because it is our show, and we'll decide how long the series is. But we talked about the people of sales and the people that we've met over the years, and the people you've probably met, and trying to derive some lessons from whether they treated us well or not, and how we have tended to judge people and have been wrong. And you just mentioned the whole going back in time and grabbing your people. I've got a story that a friend of mine, a neighbor, you might know Jay Strauch. He was the airline pilot. Mm-hmm. He was American Airlines, and he flew the 787s to China, Beijing, and he just retired about 5 years ago. And he's a great guy, big golfer, loved golf, just a really good. He was just a man's man. He's just really cool dude. Well, he died 2 weeks ago.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
And he retired 5 years ago, worked all his life and looking forward to playing golf, and got some kind of weird cancer, and he fought it. He played golf for 2 years and fought this damn thing for 3 years and finally succumbed. But we went to it's one reason I had to cancel the last recording. We went to his funeral service, and funeral services are great because you learn about people, things that you didn't know about them when they were alive. And I thought, what a shame. What a shame that we didn't know what kind of a human being, we lived next to for 25 years. But you don't ever have those conversations. Instead, you're talking about, who do you have cut your grass? Who's, all those stupid. And when I started to find out, he went to Air Force Academy and he bailed out, in a jet that was crashing into a mountain. I mean, all these things, it's like, why did I never know that? Well, I know why you didn't know it, Bill, because you never sat down and asked him. You never sat down and asked him about his life and his life in the military, at the Air Force. He flew airplanes for 30 years or whatever. Had to have been some harrowing moments. And that's a lesson for me that, we have to learn about people, because everybody has a story, and you have it, and we all have stories. And, the more we're in conversation with people at that level, I think it just makes life richer.
It's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you said that. That's a good thing to say. That's a good thing for everyone to hear, because it's the truth. And everyone's a moment away from making a different decision on that subject. All you have to do is pick up a phone and call somebody. That's all you got to do. Or invite them to something, or come over, or sit down with them, or doesn't matter what it is. And just breathe on that. That's really, really awesome.
And we're busy putting out fires and tending to our external BS of our lives, and we don't stop and say, we haven't seen the Smith family in a while. Let's invite them over for dinner.
Yes.
Or let's go to dinner, or let's whatever. Go to a movie. Movies are bad because you really don't talk much in movies. You just sit next to somebody. But
unless you get older, people talk. People like, what did he say? What's he saying?
Okay.
Where is she going? It's funny, isn't it?
Or my brother-in-law will say, "Why did he go into that building?"
Exactly.
It's like, because the script.
Ask the writer.
The script wrote.
The writer. That's what it called. That was what the blocking called for him to walk through that door.
Just following order. That's all he was doing.
Oh, geez. Well, I'm going to go and talk about another mutual friend of ours that I know who is also passed away, and that is Bob Porman. To honor him, we talk about people you've come across in sales. So this is a double whammy story for me. Bob Porman was partners with a longtime friend, one of your first clients, Dave Harding. Is that correct? The first client ever.
Yeah.
And so when I started working for you, got to meet these guys, and I was incredibly intimidated by them when I knew the size of their business and who they were, and just their names in town, and just, very, very just intimidated. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm actually in business close to these guys. And I struck up a bit of a business mentorship with Bob. It sort of just evolved. And the things that guy taught me, and what I loved about it, he taught me by doing, not by telling me what to do. He taught me by showing me, not by telling me what to do. And the biggest thing he taught me was the power of friends helping friends and connecting and networking with people in a market. And he sat down with me at a sushi joint called Kona Jack's one day. And he's like, okay. I said, Bob, I'm not catching on to this networking. Like, I know people. And he's like, okay, where are you hanging? I asked him all these questions. He's like, where do you go to church? Because he knew I was Catholic. I'm like, Immaculate Heart. Do you know how many business owners are to go to Immaculate Heart? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you don't think they want to work with guys that go to Immaculate Heart? It's like, a thing. So I made this big list. He's like, who else you want to meet? I got this big list and gave it to him. On a Saturday morning, I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, my email starts pinging, and it is Bob connecting me to 30 people in our town who were big, in our world, were big names, like big business people. I'm like, oh my God. Ended up having lunch with several of them. And I just thought, man, that's it. And what Bob taught me there was he was giving. He had lots of fish to fry.
That's right.
And to help some 27-year-old punk kid trying to build up sales training practice. But he didn't care. He did it on Saturday morning. And he didn't have any ego around it. He just did it to help. And that's how the world worked. And Ben, that flipped a switch for me. And I've done everything I could since that moment to emulate that behavior, and not the asking part. I'll good asking, but also just trying to be someone that brings people together with no ego as best I can. Lou Gehrig's disease, I believe, ALS, passed away.
Yeah, ALS.
And man, what a great human being. Gone too
You
soon.
know, I worked for his dad at McAllister, a Caterpillar dealer, back before I started this business. And so I didn't know Bob Jr. was just, I knew Bob Portman Sr. had a son. But anyway, you know, one thing I remember about Bob was, and it's not necessarily meant to be a tribute to Bob, but again, lessons we learned from people. And I remember I went in to give him a proposal. I don't know if you were there or Brooke or somebody, and we were talking, and he said, "What do you got for me?" And we kind of laid it out, and he goes, "Okay." And it was a lot more than what we had done in the past, if I remember right. And he goes, "Okay, as you guys look at this, is there any reason that I should not do this?" I'm like, what a question. Is there any, the customer says, is there any reason that I shouldn't do this? And I said, I don't think there's any reason. He goes, okay, let's do it. They signed it and we were done. So I mean, this was a 10-minute meeting. But what that taught me was decision, fast action, make decisions. Not just because he said yes to us, but I'm sure he did that everywhere, not just us.
So good.
And I thought, how many times do we just put off a decision? And we'll think about it. We'll think about it. Well, I got to think about it another year and then I'll do something. Then he was like 5 minutes. Is there a reason I shouldn't do it? Okay, let's do it. Next. What's next?
Unreal.
And that's the way he built his business. And that's how you build relationships. And do you think we didn't go the extra mile for him the whole time? You did.
Absolutely.
I did. Yeah, because of just the nature of him.
Yes. Always a straight shooter. That's good. You got another one?
I do have one that is a unusual one. Back when I first started the business, I was making cold calls, and I called on this radio station, called on a guy who owned this radio station, WBRI. It was a religious Christian, and I was just making cold calls because I was trying to fill this program. I can't remember what it was called, Breakfast Club or something. I was trying to fill the $2.95 a person. I mean, it was crazy cheap. I think I worked with him for like a year. I don't know, for $2.97. It was awful model. But I remember this guy, and I can't remember his name now, but I remember this guy, and I could never get a hold of him. I tried, and finally I just gave up. I gave up quickly back in those days because I didn't like cold calling. And so what am I going to do? Do this for 6 months, try to get a hold of him. But I gave up pretty quickly on him. And I had heard that he was experiencing some health issues. And so I think I gave up on him when I heard that, because I thought, well, I'm not going to battle that. He's got his own stuff. Well, he ended up dying of a heart condition like a year later. And this might sound like ego, and it's not meant to be, but I always think, well, what if I would have been able to go in and help him oversee his sales team? Because it was stressful. I mean, being in the media business in that time where there was 100 radio stations, everybody's buying for the same advertising dollar. Could I have helped his team so that he could have maybe enjoyed another year of life, or just relieve the stress? Because I'm sure he was stressed about the business. And could I have taught him something about detachment, or about intention, or about something that would just have relieved it? I'm not saying it would have cured heart disease, but, and I always think, when you give up on somebody, just give them a few more times. Just don't give up quite. Because sometimes people have, everybody's stuff going on in their lives that prevent them from returning a cold call. But sometimes if you hit somebody just at the right moment, it might be the 5th call or the 5th outreach. You hit them at the time where they say, yeah, you know what? I've been thinking about this. I need to do something.
That's a great lesson.
So don't give up too early. Again, could you save a life? Probably not, but maybe you can make somebody's life a little more enjoyable.
Try to find the guy. I mean, he's not here anymore, but his name. That's very.
Yeah.
I'll try to find him. WBNI, what was it called? WBRI. We'll find him. Okay, you got time?
I don't know.
I have time for one more?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. I'm going to say my co-owner of this podcast, Bill Caskey.
Uh-oh.
All right. So you took a chance on me in 1997 after I was bankrupt, and I was at the lowest point of my life. At that point, I've since been in some lower points, but at that point, that was as bad as it gets. And I'd have a pot to piss in, and you didn't have a big business to pay a big base salary that I was making in P&G, or not even big or anything. But you agree to do a deal with me, and I was 4 months in, and I didn't have anything going. And you probably, I don't know if you remember this, but you're like, look, dude, you're not going to make it if you don't get an edge here. You got to get an edge. Like, you need to get something, like get mad or get something, or you're
get snippy. You get a little snippy.
And I love the training part of it. You let me do some classes. I was in love with that. I'm like, I got to make this work. But that little talk you had, I'm like, dang it, I've got to save this thing because it's what I want to do, and it feels like what I'm on the planet to do. And nothing that I've ever done since then would be possible if it wasn't for you. So I'm beyond grateful, man, for all that stuff. And then here we are 20 years later, still talking to nobody, or maybe
to nobody. Is that what we're doing?
But it's been awesome.
What is our show, though, after 25 years?
No,
yeah, I mean, you're welcome. And I've not regretted for 1 second anything that's ever happened to us. And so I just remember that when you came along, I just liked you. I mean, you and I had a chemistry, I think, that I didn't want to lose too, because I'd had some people where I didn't have the chemistry. And so I think, we all bring something to the table. Don't think that the only thing coming to the table is what the other person brings. And this is a good lesson for us in sales too. It's like, your company brings value, but you do too. Yes. Your personal brand, your reputation, your knowledge, your instincts, your voice, you bring a lot of value. And sometimes I think we lose that, and we start to think, well, it's the business, or, well, it's my company's comp plan. And really it's all us. Yes. It just gets back to us. And that's what you realized, and you fixed it. And here we are.
It's truth. And you know who else doesn't see that, to me, the managers and leaders sometimes. Yeah. Back to you don't see that everyone there is teaching you something. You're learning something from every single interaction you're having with those people. Yeah. That was good. It's a lot of people.
Good job. Yeah. It's a lot of people there. Hopefully we didn't offend anybody and throw people under the bus. We tried to pick deceased people.
We did, so we could say their name and speak highly of them.
That's right. That's right. You always get more highly spoken of in death than in life.
And that's good.
Let that be a lesson. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.